What's good? It's Vaughn from Sunlight Gardens. Today I'm going to show you how we grow our sunflower microgreens here. Everything you need is pretty much right here. And these are honestly some of my favorite microgreens. They taste like when you eat sunflower seeds. They taste just like that same flavor, like as roasted sunflower seeds. Obviously in a nice green, packed with protein. We're using black oil sunflower seeds. We get these in 25-pound bags. Any local seed store will have that, and I think that's going to be cheaper than ordering them offline a lot of times as micro seeds, and buy those in bulk, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. As well as these, you will definitely need some trays, flexible open flat trays, obviously with drainage holes in them. You're just going to need something to weigh it down. How we grow our microgreens, you'll see a little bit later in the video. We stack them and then weigh them down during the sprouting stage. You'll see that later on in the video, but you'll definitely want some weights. It can just be a couple bricks. You can actually even use an empty tray filled with some soil. It just has to have a little bit of pressure to kind of hold things down. Besides that, you'll just need some soil and some water. So we're gonna show you how we do this, keep it as simple as possible so that we'll make it easy for you to grow at home. If you have a lot of clumps in your soil, you wanna make sure you break up the clumps, make it as fine as you can, and then you just start laying it right in your tray here, breaking up those clumps. And basically, you don't need too much soil. My rule of thumb, flatten it out enough so that basically we have all of this surface area covered, but it's not too deep because obviously we're growing microgreens. The root systems aren't gonna be that huge, so they don't need a ton of space to grow. We really just need to make sure that this is covered. And this is gonna save you a lot of money. You'll find that soil can be expensive, especially depending on what kind you're using. Knowing that you don't have to use so much soil. A lot of people will fill this whole tray up. You really just have to fill the bottom little portion here. A rule of thumb, you always kind of want to have your soil a little bit moist. So what I'm going to do is just quickly kind of get this soil a little bit wet. So just a nice little broadcast, not too much. We are going to water it again after we put our seeds on. Usually if your soil is really dry like how this is, it's nice to wet it before you put it in here. You want to integrate a little bit of water first, or else when you put your seeds on, the water will just stay right on top. It won't actually sink down into it, like how this did right here. So that's why we have to kind of mix it up. Really, really nice seed bed. It's easy for you to grow. That's the name of the game at Sunlight Gardens. We try to make things as simple as possible, right? This soil has some moss in it, so I'm just pulling out clumps and breaking up clumps and things like that. All right, so next, we just take the seed and start putting the seed down, right? So you just want to come through with a handful of your seed and just kind of broadcast it on there like that. A lot of people have the question, how much seed do I put per tray? Basically, you want to put enough seeds so that it's covering all of the soil surface without having seeds stacked on top of each other, okay? So you see right here, you have a lot of seeds stacked on top of each other. That's not what you want. You really want to spread these apart and make sure that each seed has contact with the soil and is not on top of another seed, right? What happens if you have a lot of seeds right on top of each other? They're gonna rot. They're not gonna grow. The seeds need to have that contact with the soil, right? But you obviously do. We want to get the most out of these trays that we can. So that's why I just say put as much seed as you can to cover up all the soil surface, but make sure that the seeds are not stacking on top of each other, because if they do, then they'll start to rot, okay? Just a nice even broadcast on there. All right, so now we're just gonna water them in. You wanna give these a really good drink during this stage, because you're gonna see that they'll be stacked on top of each other for about 3 or 4 days and they won't be watered during that time. So you don't wanna flood them, but you wanna give them a pretty good drink, all right? So watch how I do this here. Kind of gently broadcasting that. And what I do is water until it starts puddling up a little bit. Kind of relax, let that puddle sink in, let it sink down a little bit, let that water kind of settle in. And once it settles, maybe just go by one more time. All right, and that'll be good. You know, there's not a ton of soil in here, so we don't need a ton of water, but like I said, we do want to give these guys a really good drink during that first watering, okay? All right, and now we're pretty much at the last step. After you get that water on them, we like to stack our microgreens to just help them germinate, make them germinate a little bit better. So basically, just take an empty tray, stack it up on there, and then we'll just stack these. So usually I'll stack 3 or 4 trays. Don't try to stack too many. We'll just stack them right here like this. And then on this top tray, just take your weights, just put them right here. Just to get a little pressure on there. Try to get the pressure evenly distributed. Sometimes I might use like a bigger rock like this. because it kind of has a little bit more even distribution, but you just really want some weight on here. So you don't have to worry about it too much. You just want to weigh this down. That's the main thing, okay? So after this, honestly, guys, you just stack it up right here, wherever you're gonna keep it. Keep it stacked for about 3 or 4 days, okay? Really, all you're gonna do is in 3 or 4 days, just unstack them all. And once you unstack them, they're gonna be yellow. Obviously, they're not getting any sunlight at this phase. They're gonna be yellow, but they're all gonna sprout really nicely. And after that, so you just kind of lay them out, and you'll see how we have some over here. So these we just unstacked 2 days ago, okay? So they were all yellow, and you can see they'll have a lot of the seed casings on them still. But basically, you just want to unstack those and then let them grow out for about another 3 or 4 days, okay? So this whole process takes about 7 to 10 days, usually, depending on how hot it's getting and things like that, right? Super fun to grow. Sunflower microgreens are highly nutritious, they're high in protein, and they're super easy to grow. Honestly, they're convenient to eat as well, okay? So I really encourage you guys to try to grow these. The seed is cheap, very simple process. And these actually still have a couple days to grow out. What's cool about this is as they grow, a lot of those seed casings will fall off. Just as kind of a final harvest tip, these do not have their true leaves yet. These just have their first sprouted leaves. After a while, their true leaves will kind of come out of here, and they're a little bit fuzzy. And so what I like to do is I actually like to harvest it right around the time when a lot of these seeds have fallen off, but that true leaf hasn't sprouted yet. So they still just has these big 2 leaves, but not any of these seed casings on them. And I find that to be the most flavorful. You can totally eat them after that true leaf comes out, but that true leaf is just a little bit more tough. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe. Share this video with anybody that is looking to grow microgreens, and please follow us for more. Thank you.
Check it out. Check it out.